The recording started.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Oh, I remember now. Okay. Oh.
Diving deep into the storm, bringing love, we can release that we no longer need. Diving deep into the storm, bringing love, so we can release that. Bringing love, so we can release that we no longer need. Diving deep into the storm, bringing love, so we can release that we no longer need. Diving deep into the storm, bringing love, so we can release that we no longer need. Diving deep into the storm, bringing love, so we can release that we no longer need.
Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and free conference call and YouTube. Establishing and maintaining right relationships through human values. Aloha and welcome to tonight's Golden Age music show. Tonight we're here with Dr. Stephen Schwartz all the way out of California. Are you in California right now, Dr. Stephen Schwartz?
I'm in California. I'm here in Beverly Hills, California.
Beverly Hills?
Beautiful here. Beverly Hills.
There's no smoke and there's no fire over there?
No smoke, no fire. Been in, I just relocated from San Diego to Venice, California, just for the last 3 weeks. And I got invited to a very beautiful gathering in Beverly Hills. And I spent the weekend with a lot of new friends, a lot of new innovators, and just flipping into my new community, and it's been really great. Never in a million years I think I'd be living in Los Angeles, and the first couple of weeks here so far have been actually pretty magical. So I feel very blessed.
Nice, nice. And so just to let you know, tonight we're going to be airing Dr. Schwartz's Cellular Attunement CD. And let me see, it's the second release by Bioharmonic Technologies, which is a beautiful melodic sound healing CD made with one intention: to bring balance to one's emotional state. If you want to relax, release, and let go, this CD is for you. It's, let me see, product description. Emotions play such a huge role in our overall health and well-being. Unfortunately, emotions are one of the most challenging things to manage in our day-to-day lives. Are you aware that specific musical arrangements played in specific octaves in specific notes can influence specific glands and energy centers in your body? These relationships are all incorporated into your cellular attunement. The second release from Bioharmonic Technologies, Cellular Attunement by Dr. Stephen Schwartz, was created specifically to assist in a therapeutic biofeedback system called the eVox by Zyto. This amazing technology uses voice recognition software to identify and balance emotional and physical imbalances in the body. If you do not have access to the eVox, do not worry. Cellular Attunement creates an amazing environment of emotional balancing as a standalone CD. Their Cellular Attunement CD even comes with instructional protocols on how to create the best emotional balancing experiences. Dr. Stephen Schwartz is a chiropractor specializing in the bioenergetic treatment of systematic inflammatory conditions, autoimmune diseases, allergies, chronic pain, and optimization of human performance since 2000. Dr. Schwartz studied sports medicine and biology at Northeastern University in Boston and holds a Doctor of Chiropractic degree from New York Chiropractic College. Dr. Schwartz is the creator of VASL Series 1 Sound Lounge and CEO of Holistic Health Science. The VASL Series 1 is the ultimate therapeutic music of sound, light, and frequency designed to shift and influence human physiology. This virtual reality healing method can take you into the deepest levels of meditation, relaxation, detoxification, creativity activation, and mind-body consciousness expansion. Dr. Stephen Schwartz is the producer of all the VASL Series 1 music called Sonic Cuticles, which have been shown to assist the body to create change in a variety of ways. For more on Dr. Stephen Schwartz and Cellular Attunement, go to www.holistichealthscience.com, and that's holistic with a H-O, no, not a W-O, I mean, not a W-H, or excuse me, HOLISTIC, healthscience.com. And we're going to come back to Dr. Stephen Schwartz and talk to him in a second. First of all, I want to give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul true life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself, your emotions and feelings, in your mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. And again, for those of you that want to know, I wrote the book version of this about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and which supplements this journey. If you want to go to spiritualnessproductions.com, on the left-hand side, there's a link that says 90-Day Ascension Journey, and you can literally purchase it for $1, or excuse me, 99 cents on Kindle if you want to do that, or purchase the book version on Amazon, or there from the website itself if you want. So anyhow, and if you got any questions, of course, you can text me, email me, call me, whatever, and go from there. So anyhow, we also have Anovate at www, and Anovate is a French word, at www.spiritualimageproductions.com, with over 25,000 scientific papers published on colostrum, a 90-day guarantee, and winner of the Healthy Living People's Choice Award twice over. Anovate focuses on helping people with weight loss, anti-aging, heart disease, diabetes, depression, high blood pressure, asthma, allergies, rheumatoid arthritis, inflammation, gout, lupus, fibromyalgia, Crohn's disease, cancer, ulcers, poliovirus, chronic infections, digestive disorders, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disease, thymus gland, mental clarity, maintenance and protection of the immune system, synthesis and repair of the RNA and DNA, and much, much more. So, and then finally, we do have Maha Dakini Loree at www.mahadakini.com. Maha Dakini Loree's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer, and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dakini Loree is also a graduate of Margot Non's year-long Sky Dance and Tantra Facilitator Training Program, as well as a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, and a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. So we're back with Dr. Stephen Schwartz out of Beverly Hills, California. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about music, you know, it's funny, and I don't know, maybe it's because of your energies today or tonight, Dr. Schwartz, but yesterday I went and watched the movie Pitch Perfect #3. I don't know if you watched any of those movies, but wow, I was really blown away. I was completely blown away with this last. I think this third one, you know, it seldom happens, but this third one I think was probably the best of their Pitch Perfect movies. And I was just incredibly blown away. So so what's going on in Beverly Hills, Dr. Schwartz?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What's going on in Beverly Hills?
What's going on, Beverly Hills? Just getting out of a conference. It's been a really amazing camp of visionary thinkers and thought leaders on topics of really business and technology and consciousness. And what I really love to see what's happening now is, whatever product that anybody is bringing to the market, whatever people that may be doing podcasts or whatever, everybody has a purpose, and if you're talking to people with a purpose, they're looking to do this as their livelihood and doing it instead of having a job and then doing their livelihood secondary, they can incorporate their livelihood into what they do for their entrepreneurial spirit, which I think is beautiful. And what we're seeing is a big shift in our entrepreneurs into conscious entrepreneurs world, and it's a really beautiful thing to see and to be a part of. And really, I get really inspired. I love what I do. I love the service that I provide to others. But what's really fascinating is when I can drop into a room of a couple hundred people and just find out like every single person in that room and the magic that they have to share with everybody is it's very humbling to me, and it's also humbling when people see value in what I'm bringing, to the arena, and we can collaborate and have conversations. So, literally, I just finished the conference, and now I'm here having a podcast too. And so thank you so much on Sunday for having me on.
Awesome. And I hear you. I think we're it's a really slow process on this planet. When major changes happen across the planet, across the board, they don't happen overnight, and it takes time. And I think I can safely say that we are making strides. We are making changes that are highly beneficial for the overall good of mankind. And it's so slow, and maybe it takes presidents like Donald Trump to emphasize that. I don't know, but it's happening. It's a really slow process, and I think sometimes people don't like the way it happens, but that's the way it goes. So I'm happy that we're starting to get on the same page more.
Yeah, everything's evolving, especially here in California. I think it's very progressive here in the state, and that's why I've been drawn to be here. And I'm from New Jersey originally, and lived in Colorado for 16 years before living in California. And I just always felt like in practice, I've always there's one thing when you're kind of leading charge in a new direction. There's always people that can be in alignment with what you do. And so I learned very early on in practice that on one level, in one direction, I can go and try to convince people of what I'm doing is correct, and try to convince people to become one of my clients or customers. Or the other side of that is just go to the community of which people already understand what I'm doing and like it, and drop into that community. And that's been my practice philosophy and really my life philosophy for the last 20 years or so, 20 years of my life.
Exactly.
And it's nice because then you're more in the flow instead of going upstream.
Exactly.
And there's always a point of critical mass, I think, when you're a leader. But I think the key is to build inertia in the lower parts of in the early stages, and find as many people as you can that already know you and support you and love you and believe in what you do, and spend time with those people and let them come into the field, and then let things begin to ripple from there. And that's where we are at this stage of the game in my career and in my life, and I feel very supported and nurtured. And I think that same energy is really what I want to put out through my music, through my technologies, and really through my book and through my practice, my philosophy of my life, and everything that I have to offer as Dr. Stephen Schwartz.
And we did. We came. We brought you in a few weeks ago and talked about your book.
Yeah.
Can you refresh my memory about the name of your book? I don't have it on tap.
Yeah. My book is called Primal Resonance: Discover the Secrets to Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. And it's essentially it's a definitive guide on the top 10 list of how to reverse aging and degeneration using sound, light, and frequency technologies. It's a book about how to use the natural rhythms of nature for reducing inflammation, clearing cellular memory, and balancing the body. It's a hit. You can get it. www.drstephenschwartz.com is my book website. It's on Amazon. And anybody that's looking to achieve optimal human performance or just find a higher level of health, this is a great book to give perspective. And it was written for the masses. It wasn't a book written for. It wasn't a book that was written for medical, technical purposes. And there's a lot of validation science in the book that needs to get done in order to write a credible book. But for the most part, I wrote this book for my patients, for them to share with their families and loved ones and their communities, to support all the notions of the foundations of the work that I do, using sound, light, frequency-based technologies for health, shifting and influencing physiology.
Got it. So, Dr. Schwartz, just if you can give us an overview of what drove you to start doing chiropractic work and working with this type of technology and this type of sound for the purposes of helping to heal people in the way that it does, in the sense of speaking?
Well, thank you, Andrew, for that question. Yeah, actually, interesting. Actually, I was, like I said, moving into a new city here in LA. I've been getting I'm meeting a lot of new people who are wanting to know my story. So I've actually been telling the story about how I became a chiropractor, how I started speaking. And, I think that the easiest answer is chiropractor. I kind of feel, I think healers are pretty much born into life as healers. And then as you go through life, there's events kind of present themselves to you that brings you down that road. And that's what happened to me in terms of, really becoming a chiropractor. And interesting, my background was in sports medicine. That's what I went to undergrad for. And I had a situation where I met somebody, a friend of mine from college. He was driving me back to my town, and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to chiropractic school." And I kind of planted it. And I remember going home and going to the local chiropractor and walking in, never been to a chiropractor before in my life, and just spending the afternoon with this amazing man, and literally walking out and saying, "That's what I want to do for the rest of my life." And that was kind of the beginning. Finished my prerequisites, went off to chiropractic school for sport. But interestingly enough, how that dovetailed into how I started working with students was when I ended up in Denver, Colorado, about less than a year from when I graduated school. I got a job at the center, and there was a woman there that was a gallery. For those of you in the radio world or podcast world that don't know what that is, it's a full diagnosis of where you check for a strong or weak muscle response based off neurological input. And you can check neurological input for basically anything. Let's just leave it at that. You can put a stimulus into the nervous system and check for a strong or weak muscle. And depending on the response, you can gain information. And then based off the techniques, I learned techniques that balance these imbalances. That was, I got involved with techniques like that shortly after my mother was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease back in 1995. And I just watched it generate over the next 5 years. As I was going to school and getting out of school and I moved to Colorado, there was a woman who was a kinesiologist that was working with these kind of chronic illnesses. And I said, wow, maybe what's going on with my mother? Maybe this is something that can help her. And when my boss came out to visit me one time, we got her an appointment with the doctor. And for the first time in 5 years, I watched my mom actually move in the other direction of degeneration in the area of regeneration. And it was beautiful. And then I remember that doctor said to me, you should go learn this. And I said, okay. And it took me to San Diego back in 2000. And it was an interesting experience because I was just sharing the story last night at this gathering about that. And, at the time, I didn't know anything about muscle reflex testing. I didn't know anything about energy work. I didn't know anything about anything. I was a sports doctor. I was wrapped up in sports medicine and sports injuries and muscle reflex. And the things about autoimmune diseases and chronic illness and pain, and I didn't know about any of these things. And that weekend literally changed my life. I sat in the same way. I just remember sitting there as a young doctor, just saying to myself, I hear truth. There was something that rung inside of me very true. And it literally transformed and changed my practice. That Monday, I went into my office and I started using the techniques that I learned. And my practice turned from a full practice, which I've always worked with to this day. But it really shifted into working with more of a chronic illness kind of place. And so that's where my practice took me, into working with chronic illness, using energy techniques. And then really, I did that for 2000. So many little facts for 2000 and 2006, 2007. But I ended up was getting ready to open up a very large, kind of my flagship practice in Denver, Colorado. That was going to be showcasing my technologies that I was soon to be developing, and things like this. My music company was still yet to actually be developed. But I was looking for, at the time I was using, let me explain what these are. They're called little energy vials. And essentially they were just little glass that contained water. And within the water there would be an imprinted signature of literally anything. You could imprint anything into its signature. And this was my practice in 2000. I had like literally over 1,000 little vials that contained energetic signatures of different things. And these were my tools for assessing and balancing and correcting the body. And as I was opening up this large center, I was starting to bring in associates. I started to bring in associates, and I was thinking I needed another delivery system other than these vials because it was hard to reproduce. It was basically a lot of time that I just didn't really have the time and energy to put into it. So I was thinking to myself, what would be another delivery system that I could use instead of these little water energy vials? And I said to myself, well, what if I could, instead of imprinting, signatures into energy water vials, what if I created audio files in a recording studio? And a good friend of mine, who's also one of my patients, and a professional musician, had a recording studio at his house. And I called him and I said, I said to my friend Chris, I said, would you like to conduct an experiment? He said, yes. And I said, do you have any health conditions? And he said that he has this, he just started dating this girl that has 3 cats. And he really liked her and definitely is allergic to cats. And he said, it's hard. He goes over there and he's all snotty and water being, he's swollen. And, it's hard. It's hard for him to be over there, in Rico Suave mode, when he's all snotty. So this was great because at this time I was actually treating a lot of cat allergies in my practice and had a very predictable outcome with cat allergies. So I was like, cool, this is great. This is a great outcome. I know exactly what I need to do for this. So we went in and into his recording studio. I'd never been in a recording studio a day in my life. And with the help of my friend, we ended up reproducing my cat allergy protocol in Ableton's music software in his recording studio. And it turned out he had a very severe allergy. He had like 18 of 22 allergies that we tested him for.
Wow.
For different things associated with cat. And over the next week, I treated him 4 different sessions. And, long story short, basically, his allergy was corrected. And I'm happy to say this is 2007. He's married to that woman today, and they live with the cats, and they have a little baby girl.
Wow, amazing.
And so that was the beginning of Bioharmonic Technologies, my music company. And that kind of lended itself to our first project that I came out with, which is called Energy Clearing. And it was, first time there, it was something to clear negative energy out of your nervous space dwelling. And I recorded that, and then really nothing happened again until 2009, where Cellular Attunement came out, my second project, which is what you were talking about earlier when we just started the podcast. So I'd love to share that story with you.
Absolutely.
If you're open to hear that part.
Yeah, no. Doesn't it feel good to know that you have control over your environment rather than it controlling you, and you can help other people with that process as well? Isn't it like an incredible, amazing feeling?
Yeah. It's really empowering, we all get through our things, it's really interesting coming to conferences because you meet so many people and you hear all these people's stories, and there's people that I become kind of in awe of because they're at a they're at a place in their life that maybe I would like to learn from, but then they drop in with me and then they get inspired by me, and it's kind of this beautiful thing. And I was talking to this gentleman that lives here in Beverly Hills, right? And he ends up telling me that he ended up having some financial some real estate issues that he had, and that had to do, but it was years ago. And he's still kind of living in the shadows of that record. And we had this conversation about like, why is he still living in what happened in the past instead of transcending that to a higher level of elevation? And the music, and I was telling him that, my book is called Primal Resonance: Discover the Secrets of Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. It's about optimal human performance, not about disease. Disease is an expression of lack of optimal human performance. So as we are working, taking people, when people come to a doctor, for the most part, they usually are coming because they have some kind of health issue, some kind of problem that they want to have corrected, some kind of disease or pain or something. And what these are expressions of lack of optimal human performance. So I always say we have to at least get you out of pain or get you resolve your initial imbalance just to get you to the starting line. I'm working on the fun stuff, which is optimal human performance, which is where I thrive and really where I like to work and where I like to inspire people to get in their lives. Because I think the bigger story isn't so much about me making therapeutic music that I recorded, that I treated a patient of mine in his recording studio for cat allergy, which is fantastic and amazing. But I think the bigger story is that I had this crazy idea that shouldn't even make any sense, but I took action on it, and it worked. And from that, it changed my entire life. I've been on an amazing path of abundance and magic and healing, and it's taken me all over the world simply due to the fact that I took action on a crazy idea that made sense to me. And if there's one message that I could deliver to anybody, it would be, whatever you're doing in your life, can you do that? Whatever, doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. If it feels right to you, then go for it. And I want to package that into all my music as well too. And I'm always driving people to shift them into a higher level of consciousness of health and happiness, abundance, and that's what this world needs right now. There's enough negativity out there, but I just really want to put out high vibration to the planet and have it in as many hands as possible. Because I know the more people that are utilizing my technology, the more we're raising the vibration of the planet, and that's a good thing. That's the point.
For years, and especially World War I, World War II, which was the middle of the energy of our solar system transitioning into the age of Aquarius. For several years, the dark forces have really been running the show for a very long time on the various levels. So it's time. We're close. We're close for that transition to be completely installed. We're now completely in the age of Aquarius. In about 9 years from now, we'll be completely in that era, in that stage. And so the dark forces won't be able to take over anymore, or very little, or very seldom. It'll be rare. So anyhow, but it's already time. I think we're even if it's 9 years away, it's still, there's no reason why we can't start taking over and being in our power now, rather than waiting till 9 years from now. Absolutely.
That's what's really interesting about energy. Energy doesn't just happen. It begins with basically 1 grain of sand that begins, and then it becomes 2, and then 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and then it becomes exponential until you hit this point of critical mass where it just takes over, and that's how the universal energy. That's how energy works. And so anything that reaches the point of critical mass is already started decades, if not even decades before. And so that movement on this stage of Aquarius is well underway, and we see it. At least I'm in the thick of it. My technologies, and we're building that wave for that 9-year smash. But I mean, I believe it's already upon us, and we're setting the stage for all that. And what I feel so impressed about is it's not just about Dr. Schwartz. I've been blessed with so many amazing people that are feeding that same intention in same but different arenas of expansion of consciousness, health, and healing. and they all want to play with me, and I want to play with them.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. We're amassing a tribe, a very large tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
And to where it can ripple out beyond the tribe, but actually ripple into, mass consciousness. Because that's what's going to happen in 9 years. It is what it is. Just like everybody has a cell phone. My intention is that everybody's going to have a vibroacoustic sound lounge. Everybody's going to have therapeutic music. Everybody's going to be using light therapy. Everybody's going to be using light therapy as for pain instead of taking pain meds.
Exactly.
This is the future that I see as our new reality. And
that
things that I can do.
That brings me to mind. Do you have an app for this stuff yet?
We're working on the app. Probably actually sometime in 2018. We will have the app ready to go. But we do have at this stage. We do have if your listeners want to go to Bioharmonic Technologies, BioHarmonic Technologies, IES.com. All my music is downloadable, or such as physical CD is there as well too. And so we don't quite have the app. We are in the works of creating a very robust application for being able to make custom therapeutic music. And so right now, almost my sixth project, and actually probably within the next 60 days, we're going to be releasing my 7th album.
Oh, nice.
Called The Journey. And we're just finalizing cover art for that as of today. So I'm excited.
Well, so what I'm thinking is, and I don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm thinking if people can download your app and, maybe they pay a monthly fee and they have access to all your programs from getting rid of or curing cat allergies to diabetes or cancer or whatever, and all they do is listen to that constantly, and maybe they can order some kind of like a lighting system or something that all they do is plug in and they listen to the app and then plug in the lighting system at the same time, and they literally just by doing that they can just lay down and like in one of your chairs and then turn around and just listen to that and put the lighting on, and that could help them heal of whatever things going on with them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, so I would like to make a little correction. Thank you for sharing that. And I share that vision with you. I need to clarify though that my music doesn't cure cat allergies. It doesn't cure cancer. It doesn't do anything with any condition. What my music does do though is it's layered with harmonic resonance frequency.
With programs, with technology.
The program. So when you listen to this, and here's the thing: if you start restoring, just if you live in a house that is in harmonic architecture, people are healthier and more productive in these spaces, in these workspaces. If you are putting your body filled with harmonic resonance frequencies, your body begins to shift itself into different optimal human performance aspects. Now, I have a very specific formulation process that I utilize that uses specific mathematical ratios, sacred geometry, physiological frequencies, and a variety of other things that's downloaded that's programmed into my music for shifting and influencing a variety of different physiological effects. I've never actually made that actually works for curing a cat allergy. Everybody asks me that. That project was never done. But there's a lot of other things that we do work with. Like I have something for detox. I have one that works well for energy clearing. I have one that works for a variety of physical ailments like bone and tissue regeneration, wound healing, stem cell activation. And then actually the one that you were talking about earlier, Cellular Attunement, that one works with a variety of emotional balancing relationships. So they're all. But what we start finding though is as people start listening to these things, These work more at like the core of where disease takes a stronghold on the body.
Exactly.
It works with, things are out of, when people are out of balance emotionally, when people are having sexual imbalances, when people are having inflammation, when we start producing harmonic resonance into the channels that are creating imbalance in these areas, we then start seeing shifts in these other areas. And then you start getting long-term healing occurs.
Yeah, the cellular molecular structure of your body starts to shift and change to a healthier one. Is that what I hear you saying?
Exactly. And it's all that because we're putting you into the field of harmonic resonance.
Exactly. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and taste some of your cellular attunement, and if you can give us an overview of how you came about to saying, hey, I want to put together this album, blah blah blah.
Okay. Yeah, great, thank you. I'm actually really proud of Cellular Attunement. I'd say out of the 7 projects that I have done now, I think Cellular Attunement is probably one of them, probably my redheaded stepchild or the black sheep of the whole family. Yet it's probably one of the most potent, most complex sonic-ceutical, and that's what all my musical projects are called. They're called sonic-ceutical. They're sonic-ceutical projects. It's the most complex of them because I made it with a very clear, a very specific intention. And that clear, specific intention was to accompany a biofeedback system that I just started working with called the EVOX. And the EVOX is created by a company called Zyto, and the big Dutch football, which is a biofeedback company. And it's interesting. I remember having a dream about this technology, and then a couple of months later, I was at a conference, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's like what I dreamed about. So I was like, I'll buy that. I want that. And it's a really beautiful technology because it's voice recognition. And so literally you speak into a microphone, and it breaks down your voice into 12 different zones based off the chromatic scale of music. And it's based off the chromatic scale of music. And so each one of those zones is connected through this vocal mapping system. And it shows you, hey, like C sharp or C or D or whatever is out of balance. And then there's the biofeedback system that you put your hand on, and it sends frequency balance for the vocal imbalance through the hand cradle, and it literally balances your cellular memory. It clears the imbalance based off of what you're talking about. So if you're talking about how you want to attract a partner in your a romantic partner, you can talk about your ideal partner, about how you want that, and it'll show where there's a balance, what emotional relationship there is associated with that. And or if you want to attract a better job or more money or whatever, you can talk about it. Or if you're going through a conflict, you can talk about it, and it's going to show you what your balances are. That's Box, and that became an integral part of my practice back in 2009. But I remember sitting in the training to learn how to do this when I was a Box, and saying to myself, wow, this is really interesting, because what happens is as you're doing the session, and as you're receiving the therapy, you have headphones on and you're just listening to music. There was no inherent music specifically about that. It was just kind of nothing. It was just there's inherent music. There's no inherent therapeutic to the music that was going to the headphones. So I remember, Bioharmonic Technologies created, and I said to the owners of the company, I was like, I could make you a custom program, a custom sonic-ceutical to accompany this. And they were like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And that's what happened. So I ended up making this music for the key box. But what happened was I created something very special I created something very special that doesn't require the keybox. You can just listen to it and get overall body balancing. And there's all different ways of using this particular track that's very specific to balancing emotions. And we could talk about that just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, some of the foundations to this is I work with basic underlying physiological frequencies that are made for the connective tissue of the body. I work with specific notes for each one of the notes of the emotional relationship. There's a specific musical mode that corresponds to the notes that I've learned through one of my mentors, teachers, Baby and Maman. He talks about different musical notes that correspond to different musical modes. We have those modes corresponding in this music. Then we also have I have actually some subliminals in there as well, and then we also have sacred geometry embedded in there. All for shifting.
Yeah.
All for shifting in physiology and balancing. So
are you saying that you have sacred geometry embedded in these sounds in the form of sound audio? Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes.
Really, I haven't heard that one before. Interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, I come up with a way of being able to create an auditory representation of sacred geometry.
Nice.
And be able to imprint that into my music.
So let's start out. Go ahead.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
first of all, I noticed that all of these songs or zones, I guess if you want to call them that, are all 5 minutes and 2 seconds long for the most part.
Yeah.
And
all 5 minutes. Yeah.
And what I'd like to start out with is zone number 7, anger versus self-acceptance, and then I'd like to do unworthy deserving versus self-acceptance, accepting zone number 10, and then go from there. So what's go ahead? What's your inspiration? What's your perception of why you're doing zone 7? Your intention.
No, you picked zone 7.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying that zone 7, you created this, and what was your intentions behind that?
What is emotional relationship? How did I come up with those emotional relationships? How did you come up with the emotional relationship?
Yeah. It says anger versus self-acceptance. Yeah. So, what was your intention behind that?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Thank you, Andrew. Remember, I was just sharing in the story about about the Evox software, the biofeedback system that I was creating this music for. There was a gentleman that created the Evox. They created it, and in their software, they had these 12 zones, and they had those emotional relationships associated with those 12 zones. So all I did was, because I was making this for that, I was just using their zones.
Got it.
But then I ended up layering it. So the discipline of where that came from is interesting. There's been a little bit of a mystery to it. Now I know the fellow that created the Evox. He was the one that originally used those emotional relationships, but just in recent times, literally within the last 2 weeks, I was reconnected with a gentleman that uses voice recognition that told me about another gentleman that lives in Spain. That's the originator of that software, that was the precursor to the Evox.
Huh.
So I think he's the original guy that came up with the emotional stuff. So to be perfectly honest with you, I did not make, I just made the music for those zones based off what was part of the software, but I did not have the download process of those.
Got it. So
yeah.
this is an extension of the Evox. Is that what I hear you saying?
This is an extension of Evox, but know that that zone and everything associated with the zone, sonic-ceutically speaking, is designed to release anger and to bring in self-acceptance.
Got it. So with that in mind, let's send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to all those angry people out there on the planet that really do. And I think that's probably the root of their anger, is that they haven't accepted themselves, which means they can't accept other people around them either. So let's send out blessings.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, it's really funny, Andrew. I got a really funny story actually about that specific zone.
Go ahead.
A good number of years ago, I was at a trade show, and we were selling music and everything. And there was a guy that came up to me, and he had kind of a relatively angry disposition, but he bought the music, and one day he calls me, and he was like, I want to come back. I want my money back. And I was like, sure. Come down. So he comes in and goes, listen, and I particularly have a friend who the one, you have the CD in front of you, correct?
Yeah, I do. In fact, I have it on the video, and then I've actually put, when people see this on YouTube, they'll be able to see that I'm actually putting this up on the screen, on the camera, so that people can see that I'm holding up the album. But go ahead.
That's good. So, can you read what it says? The affirmation inside the inside cover, it has like a written affirmation for zone number 7. Can you read that?
For zone number 7, it says, I am open and willing to accept change in all aspects of my life. And
this guy comes into my office. So this guy comes into my office and said that he had a problem with subliminals, and that subliminal is what he had a problem with.
Got it.
Changed in all aspects of his life, and it was kind of funny because so I gave him his money back. I mean, that's the one zone that he probably needed the most. That was the one he was most resistant to, and that's how my treatment works such magically. Is because people are drawn or repelled by different resonance. And that's how I encourage people, when they listen to my music, to use it, is to listen to where they feel in resonance or distant, and then work with that music for allowing that to shift in your body to create change.
Interesting. All right. So
these are tools.
I hear what you're saying. So people are either strongly attracted to these, or they're deflected or rejected. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, so again, we're going to send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light, and love to all the angry people out there, and we will be back. Anger versus zone number 7, anger versus self-acceptance, by Dr. Stephen Schwartz from his album Cellular Attunement.
You look nice. You look beautiful. Yep. That's my company. And then the music. But yeah, that's good.
And we're back here on Spiritual Image Productions Blog Talk Radio. We're here with Dr. Stephen Schwartz out of California, talking about and playing his album called Cellular Attunement. And so we just played one of these again. This is kind of different than regular music, because the music, or these zones as he calls them, are designed to help people shift their energies, so to assumably a healthier, better way of life with whatever is going on in your life. So and we played the zone number 7, anger versus self-acceptance. And again, these zones are taken from a system called eBox. Is that correct, Dr. Schwartz?
Yes, it is. But the thing is, I want to stress that you don't need the eBox to receive, the therapeutic music. It's a standalone. The original intention was made for the eBox, and for any eBox practitioners out there will say, in fact, what's even more awesome, instead of just doing the eBox, you can play it through the sound lounge. So instead of just getting activation through the hand cradle, you can literally lay in the field of it. And if you don't know what the sound lounge is, information on that on my website, Bioharmonic Technologies. It's a full body vibration music system. So you lay on it and it vibrates the therapeutics directly into your body through the connective system. But it's a standalone. So what I'm saying is, it's a standalone product. You don't need the eBox, but it was made initially with that.
So what I hear you
Does
saying that these zones are designed to be activations that are designed to be embedded or shift your cellular molecular structure of your body, and you don't need, which are embedded in the music itself. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah, it's embedded in the music itself. It was made for the e-box, but you don't necessarily need the e-box to receive healing. So like if your listeners are listening to this and like, wow, this sounds really cool, I want to experience it, you can do that.
Got it. So with that in mind, what I do, I want to go to the next zone, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to pick I'm picking the zones that I feel will be most effective for the largest number of people concerned. And I think zone number 10 would be another one that would be along those lines, unworthy, deserving versus self-accepting. And so, and what you want me to go ahead and read the mantra or the thing for that?
Yeah, the affirmation, the subliminal affirmation. And just as another reference point, I don't like using a lot of subliminal affirmations inside labs because people feel like you get sneaky about things that are imprinted, in there. So what I did was I wrote, when you purchased the CD, I wrote what the subliminals are in the music. So,
got it.
Being transparent, so you can read it. But also, what I think cool about that is there's different ways of working with the music. Like one level of working with this music is you can just listen to it and just don't feel anything. And just by listening to the whole hour, you're getting a full hour of emotional balance that works through all the different modes and all the different notes and all the different notes of the body, and that's helping. Another way of working with it is scanning through, and then saying, this one feels resonant to me, this one doesn't feel resonant to me, this is one that I feel drawn to play with, whatever. And then just playing that track and listening to it and letting it kind of let it just sink to the mind. And if it brings stuff up for you, or if you don't even like it, or you're like, I don't like the way it feels in my body, then what I encourage you to do is turn the volume down and listen to it again, and just listen to it over time. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to listen to it for 24 hours straight, but listen to it, whatever, every day, maybe on some level of regular basis until your body becomes more accustomed to it. And as it becomes more acclimated to that harmonic resonance, you're literally clearing and establishing a new emotional balancing remedy to your body. So this is how you can start using these more on like a therapy level.
Got it.
And so these are different ways of working with it. And then the third way is if you really want it to get really dialed in, you can listen to the music, which is impacting your body through the subconscious mind. But then the other part of it is you can read the affirmation. So then you're getting conscious mind input, and then you're getting subconscious mind input, and so that's just listening to the music that way on an actual way. And then if you really want to be a rock star with my music, you can purchase a vibroacoustic sound lounge. All the information is on my website, bioharmonictechnologies.com, and that talks about these vibroacoustic sound lounges. And all of my music, all 7 albums, are specifically engineered and formulated to be activated directly into your nervous system. And then the sound lounge is a mechanical vibratory activating, essentially, bed that you lay on, and it allows the music to be broadcast directly into your nervous system. So that's like, the deepest direct level of downloadability.
Got it. Now, I've been personally working with subliminal. There's a book called Subliminal Seduction, which I read years and years ago, and I've been working with subliminal techniques for years. You go to my website, it's filled with all kinds of subliminal seduction, And even in my apartment, which I teach to people in the mentoring program that I do, the 90-day Ascension journey, I teach people to number one, make your place, or even your car or your office into a temple, and you can fill it with all kinds of subliminal seductions that will help induce the energies in your temple, wherever that may be. And one of the things that I do is I play. I have an extra computer, and I have a slideshow that I show that shows all kinds of pictures of saints, of positive imagery, all kinds of stuff that is set up to induce the energies of this my place. Yeah, and so no matter if I'm here or not, because you can never tell if aliens come into your place when you're not home, or who knows who goes into your place of residence when you're not home. So I always have it on constant activation mode 24/7. So anyhow, I play that sliding show 24/7, and then I also play mantras and messages by Maitreya Buddha in the background of that, and I'll put it on low volume, so if anybody came to my place, they wouldn't even know it's on. But as soon as they step into my place, they could feel the energies. So what I'm gonna do, Dr. Schwartz, and I think I like that idea. I'm gonna play your Cellular Attunement CD 24/7 for a whole week, and just kind of look at. I think a week will be enough to kind of get the gist of the energies of the activations and what they accomplish and what they do, and that should give me a taste of what it is that happens between now and a week from now. I'm going to do that for a whole week and see what happens, and then I'll give you the feedback after.
Yeah, I'd love to have you do it. And what I would encourage you to do is, since you're going to be going into this long-term frequency broadcasting process, I would encourage you to turn the volume down. You don't necessarily need, because there's going to be ripples in your connective tissue. Some of these zones are going to be more, deeply needed to be cleared and activated than others. And so by turning down the volume, your field, your connective tissue can receive the harmonic resonance coming through, even if you're not really paying attention to the music.
Exactly.
And it'll just be kind of gentle, and you're just getting the therapeutic. And I was going to say, if you're listening to it 24/7 for a week, you're not necessarily listening for the melodic sounds of the music. You're going more of the therapeutic aspect. So, so turn down the volume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I know the subconscious, unconscious, and superconscious will still pick it up, even though the conscious won't hear it. And the molecular structure of my physical body will still feel it, even so at low levels, and without making any disturbances, large disturbances in my daily activity, whatever that may be, or not be for that matter. So I know if I do that for a week, I'll be able to sense or pick up different things that are going on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So anyhow, the affirmation for zone 10 is I accept myself and love the love of others, and I am worthy of receiving deep nurturing. So
that's beautiful.
We'll send our love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to all the therapists out there, especially the ones that are needing concern. And we will be back. Unworthy. Now, do you want to send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to anybody with this particular zone right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Unworthy, deserving versus self-accepting by Dr. Stephen Schwartz from his album Cellular Attunement. And we're back. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio, pre-conference call, and YouTube. Establishing and maintaining right relationships with new value. Tonight we're doing the Golden Age Music Show, and we've been talking to Dr. Schwartz all the way out of California, who was a chiropractor and has been working in this field for years now, and has also developed bioharmonic energy system, biofeedback system. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. To help people deeper than just with chiropractic work or services. And so he came. This is the album that we're airing tonight. It's called Cellular Attunement, the second of several albums that he's already come out with. And so the zones, as he calls them, instead of songs, are designed to help to shift the cellular molecular structure of people's bodies to be to shifting in a much healthier way, or a much healthier level, assumably. Is that correct, Dr. Schwartz?
Yeah. I mean, these are all about, I'm a chiropractor studying music more than I am a musician.
Right.
I've been very blessed to be able to work with really good producers, really talented company musicians. I mean, I do play music, and I like to put my music. I like to play as much as I can on music. But more importantly, I formulate all the things I never would think that I do. And then beyond that, then we have to shape the pharmaceutical. We have to create the experience. And at the end of the day, that's what we're going for. What is the end-game experience? And it's just been interesting watching. I mean, it's been an 11-year journey, 10, 11-year journey of just going from never being in the studio to now, we're about to release, my 7th album. And I'm really proud of every single one of them. They all sound different. They all have a different story to them. You know, they all represent a different time in my life, my evolutionary growth pattern of what is in my mind and what we can manifest as a as an end product,
Right.
and it's getting better and better. So yeah, it's awesome.
You know, on New Year's, I did a meditation. I do a meditation called transmission meditation. I don't know if you've heard of it or dealt with it or done it, but anyhow, I did one for New Year's Eve, and I meditated from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, and the energies were really powerful for that. I'd be interested to see if you would be able to imprint that. It's on YouTube if you ever want to check it out. And put
Okay,
that,
yeah.
put and put it
Send me
in
the
there.
link.
Yeah, I can do that. So anyhow, the next, and I'm choosing zones. I'm looking at the list of zones. There's 12 of them. Conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs, rigid beliefs versus open to possibilities, suppressed emotional expression versus appropriate.
Emotional expression.
Okay, and then unworthy, deserving versus self-accepting, fear, overwhelm versus accountability, anger versus self-acceptance, conditional love versus unconditional love, which is what I want to do next. Self-critical versus self-love, emotionally disconnected versus emotionally integrated, depression versus inner peace, and then finally the last two are repetitive thinking versus independent thinking, and then unacknowledged versus self-validated. So I'm choosing the zones that I feel will be most helpful to the most people on the show. And so the next one that I'd like to do, and we have probably time for one or two more zones, but conditional love versus unconditional love.
That's always a nice one.
Yeah, I figured. And is there anything you want to tell us about that one at all?
And, at the end of the day, love should be unconditional.
Right?
That's a great zone. It's, think about, I think for your listeners out there that is listening, ask yourself what comes to mind. Think about the people that are in your life that you share love with, and are you coming from a place of unconditional love? Think about your little dog or cat. I feel like animals represent unconditional love.
Right.
But then you have that same feeling towards your spouse or partner or coworker or whatever it is. And I think if we come from a place of unconditional love, the world's going to be a better place.
Right.
And here is my offering to the planet to help anchor that energy and vibration. Got it.
So, and this will probably be the last zone that we'll play for tonight, because that's probably all we have time for. But the affirmation for this is I give and receive love unconditionally while releasing myself from harmful beliefs. Now, it's funny because I think I was watching a movie last night about people being in love, and that's exactly what that means. When people are in the state of love, of being present with love, of breathing love, it's not something you have to do with somebody else. You can do it by yourself, on your own if you want. And the fact that the people are doing that with other people, with a partner, it could be one partner or more. You can be in love, living and breathing and being in the state of love with several people, thousands of people, with a whole tribe if you want, and it's all the same. And when people are in that presence and they're living in that state of being in love with yourself and with each other, then it's a whole different ballgame, and it's just so much more meaningful than violence or negativity or evilness or darkness or whatever. So I think that's just much more meaningful than the other side of the coin. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. And, that actually, Andrew, you bring up a really good point. This work, it's all about you. Like your listener that purchased this piece again, working with it, this unconditional love is about finding unconditional love in themselves. Even if they're finding it, even if they're attaching that to a partner or a spouse or whoever, whatever the situation may be, the end of the day, we're bringing trans vibrational resonance of unconditional love in themselves. And then that vibration is then rippled out, and that's what brings in new unconditional love into their life.
Got it. So with that in mind, we'll send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love, of unconditional love to the President of the United States, who definitely must need it, him and all his entourage, to all the leaders on the planet, to all those that are homeless, and to all the law enforcement people out there. They need all the help they can get as well, especially in this day and age. To, of course, you and your family, Dr. Schwartz, and me and my family, and all our vehicles and places of residence that help take care of us, and to all the kids and the animals and the plants on the planet, especially the ones in need concern. To, of course, to the planet, to all the fairies and the gnomes and the angels and all the other extraterrestrials out there that help take care of us and support us. Anyone else you want to add to that, Dr. Schwartz?
At the end of the day, this is a vibrational resonance. Obviously, I'd love to send out some unconditional love to my family, my biological family, and really my new soul family that I've been connected with out here in California, and really around the world. The people that are coming into my field that are really resonating with the work that I do, and me resonating with the work that they do, because we're all working from a place of unconditional love and collaboration.
Got it.
Not from a place of competition, which is kind of an old model. So thank you for that invitation, Andrew. And let's just take a deep breath in and let it go.
And thank you for stopping by, Dr. Schwartz, and sharing your skills and talents with us, your service. Thank all of you for stopping by. Have a God-Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Again, Zone number 6, Conditional Love versus Unconditional Love by Dr. Stephen Schwartz from his album Cellular Attunement. Actually,
Seconds. 60 seconds. 10 seconds.